Yes, it was a night of violence on both sides of the bay tonight. A police shootout in St. Petersburg, leaving the suspect dead and an officer in the hospital. And in Tampa, a search for a killer tonight after a woman is found dead in a home. Let's begin tonight with a shootout in St. Pete where one officer was shot in the parking lot of a convenience store. We now know the man accused of shooting him was killed by police. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen is live on the scene along 18th Street South with new information about what led up to this. First of all, Jordan, tell us how the officer is doing tonight.
Well, Kelly, tonight the officer is recovering in the hospital after undergoing surgery. He was shot in the groin area, but is expected to be okay. Deputies say the suspect who fired at the officer was eventually killed by police after as many as 6 officers opened fire on him in the parking lot. Here's some video of those moments. There you can hear several dozen shots ring out. Now, this video was taken by a man from inside the Food Max convenience store before the shooting happened. Now, detectives were investigating the suspect, 20-year-old Dominique Harris, in relation to a child abuse charge. When detectives spotted him in the parking lot, they called in uniformed officers. One approached Harris's car window and asked for ID. That's when the sheriff says Harris provided them with ID, then rolled up his window. At that point, the sheriff's office says that Harris refused the officer's commands to get out of the vehicle. He then tried to drive away, hitting several cars, including a police cruiser. And moments later is when the sheriff says that suspect fired on the officer.
As the detective tried to get out of his car, Harris reached out the window of his vehicle with a semi-automatic handgun and fired rounds at the St. Petersburg detective, striking the St. Petersburg detective.
And this is a video of the gun that was recovered, this is a photo of the gun that was recovered from Harris's car. The sheriff says at least one shell casing was found inside the car, and he says the officer was only about a foot away when Harris pulled the trigger.
And I would almost call it point-blank range when Harris had his arm out the window, and from where the officer was getting out of his car, it was probably a foot or less. I mean, he was right there. So he's very fortunate, and we're all very fortunate that it wasn't worse and he didn't.
And like we did tell you at 6, a second officer was injured. Deputies say she twisted her leg and hit her head and could have a minor concussion, but she is also expected to be okay. Harris, the suspect, he was taken to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Now, we do know that at least one person is being detained right now. That would be Harris's brother. Deputies say that his brother was with him when he went to the convenience store, but at the time of the shooting, Harris's brother was inside the store when it happened. Now, no one else was injured. The sheriff did make it very clear tonight that this is very early on in the investigation. They still have a lot more investigating to do, and that some of these details could change after they speak with more witnesses out here, but we're told that they should have another update for us sometime tomorrow.
All right.
Kelly?
Jordan Bowen reporting for us out there. Thank you so much, Jordan.